This is my project on Sor Juana Inés de la Cruz and her rise to becoming one of Mexico's famous national icons. Miguel Cabrera made a portrait of what is known to be a depiction of one of the most famous nun writers and women in New Spain. She chooses to become a nun to further her studies as an intellectual alternative to marriage, which further challenges her beliefs against a male dominated society. Miguel chooses to position her stance in such a way to resemble scholarly representation, which was inspired by male figures seated at desks to represent her aspirations and character. Her gaze is very confident and assured. She still wears her rosary, the escudo de monja, and her Hieronymite habit to appeal to religious ideology that is seen in other nun portraits. Patriarchal authority was the norm in her society, as women were expected to adhere to the typical domestic roles. Sor Juana challenges them through her own works that represent female gender norms, causing her to become a controversial figure. Her feminist views causes tension between herself and the church out of fear that this would cause other women to be influenced by her and take stands against male domination. She fought for women's rights to learn and defend themselves for their own rights. Because of this, she faces various gender discrimination, but still continues to fight for no limitation against what women can learn and do. She says famously, "What is the devil in my being a woman?" meaning that women were not allowed to speak up because of their gender. Silence was a way to conform to patriarchal society. In the end, she was forced to renounce her passions. She wrote two books, El Sueño and La Respuesta, that resemble the things she went through because of her gender. Her dream of acquiring knowledge was ultimately a nightmare for her. La Respuesta was about her addressing the assumption of women not holding the same status as men and how many abuses would be avoided if women were in charge. El Sueño was about her dream of people being free to live their customs no matter the ethnic background and everyone was equal. Sor Juana is known to be the most famous female writer, gaining favor of her accomplishments, which gave her her existence. The men of cloth seen her work as disgraceful as a woman and nun. She does not adhere to the typical pictures of nuns, and again showing her status as an intellectual. This would come off as rather rebellious or amazing as she contributes to breaking down barriers, setting herself apart. In modern times, Sor Juana is featured within popular culture. Octavio Paz publishes a biography of her work in Sor Juana or the Traps of Faith. This rekindles her popularity and is celebrated as a feminist icon in plays, arts, and films. The town she grew up in renamed it in her honor. Latin America sees her as the 10th muse. Over time, there are growing connections between Sor Juana and artist Frida Kahlo based on their beliefs and what they stood up for. Ultimately, her concerns over equal rights in all of humanity makes her ahead of her time and a proto-feminist of the new world. Thank you.